The Cheating Death Podcast is a comedy podcast that provides objective information on anything and everything under the sun. Viewer and listener discretion is advised. On today's episode of the Cheating Death Podcast, we delve into the mind control conspiracy that has been perpetuated throughout modern times. Why is it that we can't think without having our thoughts interrupted? Why do advertisements always come in through to our phones when we're not even trying to type anything? Why do things that we think about just randomly pop into our phones? We will dive into that. We also provide you with a brand new Annihilation Announcement, an all-new joke of the episode, our top 5 popsicles, and more. So, dear listener, you know what to do. Grab yourself a coffee, grab a blanket, put your feet up, and let us tell you how you can cheat death. This is your news anchor, the Cleric of Chaos, and this is your Annihilation Announcement. We take into consideration on a daily basis exactly how many resources we have to expend, how much energy we have to share, and exactly how much intensity, how much integrity, and how much intelligence we have to distribute to each task. Understand that from your very birth, dear listener, whether it be in North America, Europe, Asia, Africa, or anywhere in between, that your mind is constantly controlled, it is constantly directed, and is constantly usurped by forces outside of your own desires. Understand that once we all reach a certain age, the choices become ours as to what to consume. You may choose to completely spurn the advertisements away and choose a nomadic life, or you may go full board cyberpunk, full automated advertising, absolute heaven. You may become a propagandist. You may become a soul in whom is responsible for creating ad campaigns yourself. But one thing you must do throughout your path in this journey is never lose your humanity. This has been your news anchor, the Cleric of Chaos, and this is your Annihilation Announcement. Willkommen, meine Freunde. Guten Morgen, guten Tag und eine gute Nacht. Ist eine Reisende und eine Ausländer, deine Schauspieler und deine Allesfresser. Du bist traurig, komm mit mir, deine Cleric of Chaos. And on today's episode, dear listeners, we are going to dive into the standard mind control conspiracy. Why are we constantly bombarded with advertisements? Why does it feel that the world wants us to go into a certain direction when our souls are telling us to go another? Well, dear listener, let's dive right in. We take into consideration what we consider to be mind control, elements of interference within our brain waves on a daily basis. We ask ourselves when it begins. We ask ourselves how we allow it to happen. There is a litany of circumstances in which this can take place. For one, when you are born, God be praised, your birth has arrived. Your parents may very well be the source of this mind control. See, if your parents are overly theological or overly political or overly obsessed with one particular opinion or way of life, there is a small possibility that you may spend the better part of your early days being indoctrinated with information that is anything but objective. But if you are lucky enough to have good parents and they care about you, your well-being, your individuality, and your growth and your spirit, then you may be lucky enough to avoid this until you start to hit grade school. So whether you are in North America, whether you're in Europe, doesn't matter. The indoctrination begins once socialization is commencing. We take into consideration the time and the effort that it takes for teachers to teach, that it takes for people to create a curriculum for students to go through throughout the year. But another thing that we almost never take into account is how students are impacted when they are at school. When you are a child, imagine yourself in the cafeteria opening up your lunchbox after a few classes of boring, nonsensical time, and you got your apple, you got your sandwich, you got your juice box, and you got a banana and a pudding. Well, what brand is that pudding? What brand is the juice box? What brand is the sandwich, if applicable, if it wasn't homemade? These are things that will stick with you throughout your school and into your teenage years. What clothes do your friends wear? What shoes do your friends wear? What type of fashion do they embark upon? What type of music do they listen to? Oh no, I don't listen to this song. Does that mean that I need to do? Does that mean that I have to figure it out? Does that mean that I have to listen to music that I'm not really a big fan of? Does that mean that I have to wear Nikes when I prefer Adidas? Does that mean I have to wear Puma when I prefer PRX? The situation can work in any way of the between, the opposite, or the reverse. But it is duly noted that this type of mind control happens at the very, very lowest level. Advertising control. When your parents are going to buy you school supplies and clothes and things, what do? More often than not, if they want their child to be accepted socially, they try to follow trends, they try to follow ideas, notions, current events, just to see exactly what is popular so their child does not get booed out of school. As we age, that evolves into voting age, and when we start to get politically involved and when we start to think about exactly what we can do to try to change the country that we live in, the advertising and mind control in the respect of the political speeches, the pomp and circumstance, the choreography, the rehearsed bullshit that comes about in all political spectrums, whether it's left, right, center, or anywhere in between. As an adult, in the very beginning stages, you are starting to become indoctrinated. Your mind is still under control. And as you age, the control only gets worse. You only get inundated with more information. You only find yourself upon the cliff of chaos, of creating calamity within your mind, because you don't know a time when you didn't have access to a can of Coca-Cola. You can't remember a time when Fig Newtons weren't a thing. Can't remember a time when Lay's potato chips were one of the most popular potato chips on the planet. But why is it that you think of these things? Because as a child, you consumed media, you consumed books and or literature and or advertisements that told you these are the best. This is exactly what you need to be eating and or consuming, and if you're not cool. The same could be said about social media. The same could be said about music tastes. The same could be said about your choice in vehicles, that if you don't go buy yourself a brand new Cadillac Escalade, that you're not cool. If you don't go and get yourself the latest and greatest lineup from Aldo or from any of the other high-level brands, whether it be Lululemon, whether it be Aloe, whether it be any of the giant retailers that specialize in selling an idea more so than selling a garment, you're doing yourself a disservice. You are doing yourself a dishonor by choosing to fall for it. Now, if you like these clothes, if you like these brands and you're fully aware, great. But if you're only doing it just because other people are doing it or just so you can look in the mirror and feel cool, dear listener, you gotta understand, when you look in that mirror and you see yourself in your raw form, standing in front of yourself, no filters, no external influence, you are beautiful and you are perfect. Each and every single human being was created on this planet, or manifested, whichever term you want to use. We're not trying to put forth any agenda of religion versus evolution here. But none of us were built perfectly. All of us have different skills and attributes that make us who we are. And dear listener, you're too beautiful to let the world control you and to let it control your dreams, your destiny, and your determination. So, put down the computer. Turn the podcast off at night. Go into your Google settings and limit the advertisements as much as you possibly can. Meditate more. Breathe. Focus on who you want to be and how you can make the world a better place. Thank you for tuning in today. Take care of yourselves and each other. At the top of today's episode, we promised you a list of the top 5 popsicles. And yes, we are talking about the ice cream truck brand popsicles that everyone remembers running to grab when they were younger, and the lovely chocolate space varieties, the lime and lemon varieties. So without further ado, let us dive right in. Coming in at number 5, we have the standard orange creamsicle. Coming in at number 4, we have the volcano pop. Coming in at number 3, we have the fudgicle. Coming in at number 2, we have the traditional ice cream sandwich. And coming in at number 1, we have the super rocket pop. What is your favorite popsicle from when you were a wee soul? Email us at thecheatingdeathpodcast@gmail.com. Today's joke has been brought to you by the Cleric of Chaos. Before I started cutting and styling my own hair eons ago, my barber was a great human being, but I was a little upset because he told me he could not cut my hair any longer. He could only cut it shorter. Aspects of mind control are so convoluted yet so simple that a lot of us go through each and every single day completely and fully automated by that to which we experience, whether it be through television and or laptop and or mobile phone or any other type of screen related media. We find ourselves in a perpetual cyclone of constant bombardment of advertising, of being told how we should live, of being told how life should be. But dear listener, once you reach a certain age, all those choices become yours. The onus and the autonomy is on you to make the right decision. How shall you move forward? How shall you deal with the mind control? The world is your oyster. You must continue to fight. Thank you for tuning in today. Take care of yourselves and each other. The Cheating Death Podcast has been brought to you by Nach dem Leben, CRDVC, and where all major podcast platforms are found. If you would like to support the program, you may do so by clicking a link in the episode's description. If you would like to support our friends of the program, you may do so by following us at twitter.com/weallcheatdeath and following everyone in the pinned profile post or following everyone in the episode's description. We would like to thank Hunter Collins for his $25 donation to the program. Thank you so very much, Hunter. You are an absolutely tremendous listener. And if you or anyone else you know is experiencing psychiatric duress, please call 1-800-799-7233 if you are experiencing domestic violence, and 1-800-273-8255 if you are just experiencing psychiatric duress. Dial 988 from your mobile phone. All support numbers are available in the podcast description. Remember, if you are looking at adopting a playful puppy or a cute kitten, to visit your local animal adoption rescue center. And life is hard. Stay strong. We're pulling for you. We're all in this together.